Good afternoon, everybody. I think you had a good lunch and very hilarious session right now. To disturb you from that, I am here on Ayushman Bharat. Yeah, when we are talking about sustainable growth with Ayushman Bharat, let me tell you beforehand, about 6 to 8 months back, I talked to my manager. I said, there is no point in Ayushman Bharat. Let's stop the scheme because we at Kiran Hospital are treating largely about 5,000 patients per month, OPD and IPD on Ayushman Bharat. About 30% of my patients are from Ayushman Bharat. So as everybody has the idea that rates are very low, the money is not coming in time, let's stop Ayushman Bharat. So he said, sir, no, it is profitable. I said, no way it is not possible. 90% of the people sitting here, all the hospital owners must be receiving all the time the advice that don't take Ayushman Bharat. If you take Ayushman Bharat, you will make losses, you will not get the money. I said, then why we should take it? He said, no, sir, it is profitable. I said, prove it. If you don't prove it, then we'll stop the scheme. He gave me the data of first 16,000 patients which we treated and then the data of further 5,000 patients. From the 5,000 patients, the data which he has given, 4,700 and some odd, 4,800 patients, we had made cool profit of 28 to 70%. And in remaining, about 20% of the patients, that is somewhere around 200, 250 patients, we made a profit of 5 to 10% or just break even. About 20 or odd cases were there where the complications occurred, we did not make the profit. I said, this is one odd example you are giving me. So next time he gave me an example of 16,000 patients in oncology. Kiran Hospital has a very large oncology department. 16,000 patients treated in oncology, medical oncology, surgical oncology, radiotherapy, everything. The profit range was from 30% to 80%. When I said the profit range, I asked him, how did you calculate it? He said, this is the package which government is giving. This is what our expenses are there. And this is what government has paid back to us, or maybe at least sanctioned. So from sanctioned amount, whatever we spent, remaining is our profit. I said, no way. I have center expenses. I have other expenses also to be turned into. He said, then we'll look at some other angle, sir. This is, suppose this patient would have come as a normal patient, what we would have charged and how much we would have spent. We tried that also in 16,000 patients. And still the profit range was between 25 to 55%. Hardly about 1% or less than 1% of the patients, we had less margins. So I realized there is somewhere catch. Yes, of course, like all other hospitals, we had also our share of not receiving the money from government. But it's a government money, remember. You will get it back. But when you have the idle beds, you have a vacant beds which are not being utilized and you are spending on those beds every day, if they are filled up and you start getting 25 to 30% of the profit, at least up to the 70% in some of the areas, I think we need to look into this case again and again and make it little profitable more for us. How do we do it? When we say about the sustainable growth with the help of Ayushman Bharat, because today, take it from me, this is the world's largest insurance scheme government is doing for the social welfare of the people, where the crores of people are being included. Right now, 34 crores, it will go up to 50 crores, then to the 100 crores. A day will come in next 5 to 10 years where the hospitals will have 100% patients which are cashless and taking treatment from private or government hospitals. And when this will happen, unless you are ready for that, probably your own hospital you will be finding not getting the patients from any other source except Ayushman Bharat. And if that happens, you should be ready to take it, to make the scheme such way that you make the profits, and these profits or surplus will make you to hospital to grow. If that doesn't happen, probably you are destined to perish, and definitely this is going to happen in next 5 to 7 years. Last week, I think, in Maharashtra government, I come from Mumbai, Maharashtra government has declared 5 lakh rupees per person in the Maharashtra state. Anybody. Free health, free treatment over the 70 years age. Everybody. Everybody. Irrespective you come in Mercedes or you come walking. This is one instrument in the hands of political people which will cut across the masses, which will cut across all religions, which will cut across all people. So they would like to use it off and on. They will at least announce, make it happen. Whether they will give you money or not is a different question. And that also will come, because eventually, as we saw in the morning, Mr. Pagaria was talking about digital this thing. Once the digitalization happens, once the things go smoothly, then probably you will start getting money at a regular basis. So when you are talking about the sustainable growth, it's a financial growth. That stabilizes, you will be able to grow. Clinical excellence, because the more and more standardization, more and more cases you see, more and more cases are being treated, probably your expertise increases, and you also try to solve those cases or those diseases in a much organized manner so that your expenses are less. I asked my person, how do you manage, how do you control the expenses on this? He said, sir, online. Online? Yeah, he said, online. How? He said, the moment there is an expense, I get it on my dashboard, how much expense is done for that patient. So I know how much is the package, how much I am going to get it, and up till now, to this minute, how much I have spent on this patient, in the operation theatre, or in the ward, or in the room, or in ICU. So every moment, constantly, I know that there is this much expense done on this patient. And if I start smelling that we are likely to spend more, I try to contact with the doctors, I try to contact with the nursing people, ask them whether this is necessary or not. If not necessary, please do not do it. All these things, online if you do it, and every patient, every day, every minute is being monitored on this. If that happens, you are likely, there is nothing great science in that, I tell you. There is nothing, no great catch in that. When I used to teach or even talk about the hospital expenses about this, there is a small difference. Because primarily, as you know, only 3 or 4 things are in the hospital. One is the center expense, that is electricity, bill, this, AMCs, other thing. Second is the doctor's expense. Third is the material expenses. And all these expenses and manpower expenses. All these expenses put together should come around 75, 80, 85%. If that is there, then you have a 15% surplus. Every expense going by 1 or 2% here or there, you are at a surplus of 5 to 7%, sometimes less than that, or even minus. And 1 or 2%, if you really minutely see it, it is so easy to wave off, or it is so easy to dilute that just within a day or 2 days overlook, and you will be out of that. So it is a constant, continuous monitoring of the system will give you a surplus. Otherwise, you will start crying only that बहुत छोटा पैकेज है मुझे. When we talked about 16,000 patients and 5,000 patients, we weighed them against the normal charges. I said, had this patient come to me normally, I would have charged him so much amount, 1 lakh rupee. Then what would have been my expenses? These are my expenses. Still I would have got the surplus money? Yes. If I would have paid my doctors at a normal rate, if I have my other center expenses at normal rates, bed rates and other, still I would have got money? Yes, still I would have got money. That means that we are not managing the systems efficiently. If we manage the systems efficiently, that is where the excellence in management practices will come. I can go through just, I think there is a delayed response. There is a cost containment, optimum utilization of manpower, close monitoring of expenses, efficiency, accuracy claims. Because the claims are delayed, not given properly. Oh, it's okay. Doesn't matter. As I said, the center expenses and the manpower expenses are somewhere around 19 to 17%, both of them together, while the doctor's expenses and material expenses are around 21 and 22%. All put together comes to around 75 to 78%. You have 22% surplus. This can waver. Now in doctors' cases, if you take the senior doctors for Ayushman Bharat, it's not done. One is you are wasting the heavy resource on a small thing because the cases are routine, not so many difficult cases. You can empanel them, but most of the work you get it with the junior doctors. What we have done at so many places, one of them is Kiran and other hospitals also, is to employ junior doctors who are fresh MS or MCH, and they will do the 80 to 90% of the work. Being on the fixed salary, you don't have to pay case-wise to them. And they can do instead of 10 cases, 20 cases, 30 cases. Doesn't matter. So the doctor's component is taken care of. The materials part, as far as possible, we are using the generic material and the material with hard negotiations. You have multiple alternatives. I tell you, we are being fooled for a number of years. There may be cardiac surgeons here, cardiologists here. People have said that there are good stents available, 1,80,000 rupees, 1,50,000 rupees. After Ayushman Bharat and all government schemes, they started putting the stents, metal stent or other stents, which are 20,000, 18,000, 30,000. And I tell you, after 1 lakh cases also, there was hardly any cases which have come back with the restenosis. This only proves that stents which are produced locally and are being used widely are as good as what you can have abroad. So those stents will cost you hardly anything. Same is with the joints. You get 1,50,000 for the joint, 1 lakh for the joint, 1,75,000 for the joint, hyperextension, hyperflexion. And the metal joints which you get it or the other joints which you get it through the government system are anywhere between 15 to 20,000, 18,000. And if you do hard negotiations, you will get it joints at the 12,000 or 8,000 rupees also. Stents also you will get it at 8,000 rupees. If these are the cost, materials going in Ayushman Bharat and patient are not coming back or not having complication, थोड़ी देर बजर बजेगा. So it is not coming back. Then I think we have to rethink that whether the Indian materials, Indian equipment, Indian stents, Indian threads or sutures are good or not. We are being imposed continuously that this is the best, this is the best. You have to think about it. Just now I saw outside. Outside I saw at least 3 or 4 stalls and all the stalls were Indian. All the stalls were made in India and they had a very good technology. I was really impressed that we should be able, for my next 3-4 hospitals, I will be going for that. There is no need I have to get Stryker or I have to get something else. Not necessary. They can be used. and we are refining again and again. So the cost difference is so much. Same way, material being used for the patient, if it is cost effective and useful and not causing complications, why you should not use it? If you are not using it, government is forcing you to use it. And once you use it, there is no complication, the total cost comes down much less. And then you have surplus. So you have to monitor everything. Administration-wise, management-wise, you have to see the turnover, ALOS, ट्रीटमेंट तो कर दी, फॉर्म नहीं फिल करके भेजा, डिटेल्स नहीं भेजा, फिर 4-8-15 दिन बाद फिर then comes rejection, time bar. All these things you have to see that you are efficient and managing it properly. If that happens, only then you can make the surplus. So this is the way you will have to see that you sustain, and this will give you easy money. I tell you, you have 50 beds vacant. They will fill tomorrow if you have this government scheme taken. I am not saying against anything, but yes, payment of this doesn't come in time. So your cash flow gets disturbed, cycle gets disturbed. But collective pressure on the government, what happened in Gujarat, I saw it. Collective pressure on government makes them to pay. And this is a transient phase. I think at some point of time, government will also realize that for good of people, we need to pay the hospitals, private hospital as well as government hospital. Then only we can make this scheme very successful. And it is in the hands of these doctors, these owners, and the government combined jointly to make it successful. This is one of the best schemes in the world, and probably we should be able to do something good for that. So thank you. For a short time I was here. For a longer time, I have all the data of 40,000 patients. Anybody wants to have it, will be able to share it at some point of time. Thank you very much.